Coming up on this week's episode of Spoke TV, find out how the region's local microbreweries are trying to combat the big breweries.
The palate has changed, the demand for more quality beer, and
as well, we fill you in on why Stafford Drive closes down every year, and the answer might just surprise you. And we'll drop into Waterloo Heights retirement community to take a look at how they're helping to fight multiple sclerosis and looking sharp while doing it.
So that when someone falls ill like that, they get so much sympathy and help from us.
Hello, I'm Long to Win.
And I'm Candace Agunde, and this is Spoke TV, your source for local weekly news produced by broadcast journalism students at Conestoga College. CAA's Worst Roads campaign made a stop in Kitchener as they were looking for the top 10 worst roads in Ontario. Did Kitchener make the list? Devin Flynn has the answer.
CAA stopped by Kitchener-Waterloo this week to gauge the conditions of our roads and highways. Its annual Worst Roads campaign is used to draw attention to Ontario's deteriorating roads and highways. Since the program began, 90% of the roads that have made the list have been repaired or are in the process of doing so. The campaign works hand in hand with the residents of the cities they travel to by voting on the CAA's Worst Roads website. We asked some local residents what they thought of the road conditions in KW after the spring thaw.
Well, I think they're better than last year because I remember last year when the snow melted, the garbage was all over the streets. But I think the cleanliness of Waterloo is much better this year.
They've been pretty bad ever since the snow's melted. Not as bad as last year, but they're pretty bad.
Jeremy Herget, owner of Herget's Auto Tech, shares how the road conditions have affected some of the cars that have been brought into him.
The biggest problem we're finding right now is the fact that people are coming in and getting their snow tires taken off, and they don't even realize they have bent rims until we tell them. A lot of it is actually highway potholes, believe it or not. That's the ones they don't realize do the damage. It's not just tire and rim damage, we're getting a lot of suspension components. Stabilizer links, number one. We've had some older cars where the control arms actually will break.
But surely things can't be that bad, as KW has yet to rank in the top 10 for CAA's worst roads. For Spoke TV, I'm Devin Flynn.
Thanks, Devin. The Waterloo region is planning on changing the way garbage is going to be collected, but they want the public's input before they take the next step. Josh Horsley has more.
Garbage isn't usually something people like to talk about, but the region of Waterloo is hoping to get the public to share their thoughts. The region has scheduled a public input meeting on May 6th to hear from residents on changes to garbage collection bag limits and other restrictions. Two options have been presented to regional councillors. Option 1 would see garbage picked up once every 2 weeks with a limit of 4 bags per household. Option 2 would see garbage being picked up every week with a limit of 2 bags per household. For each option, green and blue bins would be collected every week as it is now. The region says option 1 could save up to $1.5 million annually and save up to 2 years of capacity at the landfill. Option 2 could save up to $750,000 and add about a year of landfill life. The new rules would come into effect in 2017 when current waste collection contracts end, but approval is slated for May 26 so garbage contractors have time to adapt to the new collection routine. For Spoke TV, I'm Josh Horsley.
Thanks, Josh. Spring is here, and that means the beer is flowing and patios will soon be opening. The local craft beer industry continues to grow. Leah Johansson takes a tour at a brewery as she looks into their connection with the community.
The Waterloo region has always had its fair share of independent brewers. This is nothing new, though. We have a deep history with Wellington Brewery being one of the first to open up in the province. As the craft beer trend continues to grow in popularity, it seems as though the region is leading the way in Ontario. However, 80% of beer in Ontario is still being sold in the beer store. So, how do local breweries make their products stand out in such a competitive market?
We took a trip to Uptown Waterloo to A-Burb to check out what the craft brewing scene is really all about.
Assistant brewer Giancarlo Todon says craft beer is gaining a loyal fan base.
The palate has changed, the demand for more quality beer, and something that their neighbor, someone's neighbor is brewing and making themselves, knowing that the money is staying within the community, within the area, and it's more than just having a beer, it's almost a philosophy.
Head brewer Robert Kundary says A-Burb decided to host a fun event to compete with larger beer corporations and to get locals excited about craft beer.
Beer Wars is 4 breweries, A-Burb, Block 3, and Asante, and Grand River. We've all decided on one style, the American Brown Ale. We get to change the percent of the malts, we get to choose our own hops and our own yeast.
The four breweries are battling for fun and bragging rights with the title of the best American brown ale in the region. And if you want to head down to the competition, you might be out of luck. Tickets for the Ultimate Brewdown sold out within 45 minutes. The competition is scheduled for May 5th. For Spoke TV, I'm Leah Johansson.
How far would you go to help a friend? After the break, find out the extremes one young man took to save his best friend.
A bond between best friends can go a long way, and as this next story shows, it can even help save a life. Reporter Marian De Palma brings us the story of a young man who donated a kidney to his best friend.
I'm grateful that it happened. Obviously, I got my life back. And
this is Tyler Kilroe. He was diagnosed with kidney failure. Even though he has health issues of his own, 27-year-old Andrew Camacho didn't take a second thought when he decided he wanted to save his best friend. Camacho lives in Kitchener, Ontario, and currently attends Conestoga College for the broadcast journalism program. Camacho was born with a condition called microphthalmia.
And usually if you have microphthalmia, you have no sight whatsoever because basically your eyes just stop developing.
When he was 16, while attending the W. Ross McDonald School for the Blind and Deaf in Brantford, Camacho met Tyler Kilroe.
We sort of started becoming friends, or at least starting to talk to each other because we had a similar interest in music. Specifically, he had the new Blink-182 album, and everybody knew about it, and that's kind of how we became friends.
Since birth, Kilroe has faced a plethora of health complications, including being diagnosed with cystic fibrosis.
It can be terminal, as it's a progressive disease, and most people who have it, who are diagnosed at a young age, they don't typically live long lives.
CF caused Kilroe to have to undergo a lung transplant at the young age of 15. It resulted in an unexplainable infection in his bloodstream, which ultimately led to his vision impairment.
He has a lot of health issues, so when he was at school, you know, he would be there for a long period of time, but then he would just kind of disappear, and it was because he was sick or he was in the hospital.
In 2013, Kilroe told Camacho that he had been diagnosed with kidney failure, and for the second time in his life.
I think we were just talking about the situation, and he said, if you're interested, you know, you can call Toronto General, the transplant clinic, and they'll send you this package if you're interested in becoming a donor. And yeah, it kind of, there was no really second thought. It was just kind of like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. I'll see what I can do. And it kind of worked out.
He knew that his best friend was the person he could count on.
If anyone was going to offer and go through with it, I knew it was going to be him. So when he did, yeah, I'm going to put a smile on my face, absolutely.
The two anticipated the surgery would be done in the summer of 2013. Unfortunately, it was postponed until December. Health professional Dr. Pradeep Saxena explains what risks Camacho took as a donor.
For the recipient, the risks are slightly more because you will be on medications which will be immunosuppressants. By immunosuppressants, I mean that your immunity will be suppressed by various drugs to increase the acceptance of the kidney in your body. Since your immunity is reduced, you are prone to more infections.
Despite the large risk of infection not only for Camacho but for Kilroe as well, the recovery process went fairly smoothly.
The kidney started working right away, so there was no actual issues with the kidney. The main recovery process was just the incision.
Camacho faced one minor complication.
At one point, my incision opened up and it was just pouring blood everywhere. So I had to be rushed to the hospital once.
Fortunately, it was smooth sailing after that. It has been just over a year since the surgeries took place, and both Kilroe and Camacho remain in good health. Camacho says his day-to-day positivity is thanks to his best friend.
You know, honestly, I kind of picked it up from him. I mean, like, this guy's gone through, you name it, like every horrible thing that can pretty much happen to a human being. And he's probably one of the most positive people I know.
Despite living in different towns, the two still keep in touch and get together to chat and watch Andrew's enormous movie collection. Kilroe knows just how lucky he is to have such an amazing person like Andrew as his best friend. It just goes to show that everyone in life is going through a struggle. Getting through these struggles is what friends are for.
There's not enough time to be negative, you know. Like, it sounds kind of cliche to say, I guess, but you know, you just don't have time for it.
For Spoke TV, I'm Marian DePalma.
Thanks, Marian. High school teachers in the Waterloo region could be going on strike after the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation suspended contract talks with the government. The OSSTF sent a strongly worded message on Twitter saying that they will return when the employer gets serious. This on the heels of an impending no board report issued last week that would allow teachers to legally strike 17 days after receiving the report. Members of the union have been working with a collective agreement since August. The Waterloo Region District School Board is among the 7 school districts affected in Ontario. 16 secondary schools in the region would be impacted by a work stoppage. The last day of classes for secondary school is scheduled to be on June 24th.
Why did the salamander cross the road? Well, we'll tell you after the break.
A new partnership agreement will allow students from India to complete their final 2 years of study at Conestoga College. Danielle St. Cyr looks at the impact the new program will have on the college and impending students.
Students from India in the Electronics Engineering Technology program will now be able to finish their final 2 years of study at Conestoga. A partnership agreement was made between the college and the Continental Institute for International Studies on March 3rd. Alan Vaughn, Vice President for the Enrollment Management and International Education, explains the reasoning behind the partnership.
So by coming here to Canada, they're not only going to learn about electronics and everything, they're going to learn, and it is a co-op program, so they are going to get an opportunity to apply those skills and basically to prepare them for a career in the field.
Graduates of the program will be eligible for many different careers in areas such as digital signal processing and circuits operating. Ignac Kalenko, Chair of Engineering and Information Technology, explains what the new agreement will allow international students to do.
So this particular agreement is with the Continental Institute of International Studies. It's an agreement specifically with that school to allow students in the Electronics Engineering Technology program. They will be taking it in year 1 within the CIIS school, and then they will transfer over to Conestoga for years 2 and 3.
The 3-year advanced diploma program will provide students with the skills to design, build, repair, and test electronic equipment and systems. For Spoke TV, I'm Danielle St. Cyr.
Thanks, Danielle. Stauffer Drive in Kitchener closes every year to allow the Jefferson salamander to cross the road safely. Laura Moncada looks into what the Waterloo region is doing to protect this endangered species.
Crossing the street from one side to another might be simple for most, but for these little guys, it's a matter of life and death.
The Jefferson salamanders have to cross Stauffer Drive every year to breed, but they were getting killed trying to do so. That's why for the last 4 years the road has been closed to ensure that the endangered amphibians cross safely. The ponds slowly evaporate and don't contain fish for young salamanders to survive there for months. Tony Samid, aquatic and terrestrial ecologist for the Grand River Conservation Authority, explains why it is important to protect the Jefferson salamanders.
They're very uncommon. They're rare in Ontario and in Canada. And they have a very restricted range in Ontario. So they're found primarily on the Niagara Escarpment. And there's a few isolated populations in southwestern Ontario.
The salamanders are only found in 30 sites across Ontario, most which are on private land and close to urban areas. Stauffer Drive in Kitchener was closed on March 13. Stefania Rojas, Kitchener resident, says that it's important for the city to preserve the environment.
I actually didn't know that salamanders were endangered, and I find it really good that they're helping them.
The closed area of Stauffer Drive that stretches 700 meters will reopen May 1st. For Spoke TV, I am Laura Moncada.
Coming up after the break, age is only a number for locals who want to strut down the runway for a good cause.
And now for entertainment, here's Katarina Costa.
Thank you, Candace. It's not often we see older people strutting their stuff on the runway, but this week I had the opportunity to attend a fashion show for a great cause put on by the residents at Waterloo Heights.
Fabulous cotton, fresh prints, and comfort all being modeled down the runway. All looks that were provided by local stores in Uptown Waterloo.
Skirt from Tanjay's spring collection at Nygaard.
Here at the Waterloo Heights, residents still know how to kick it. This year, their annual fashion show was for MS.
Every year, their fashion show is a part of an annual fundraiser. This year, their fashion show was dedicated to a resident who battles MS.
He can talk forever, and so many things, like really intelligent, hilarious.
But nothing stops these ladies or gentlemen from having some fun. Peggy Keeler, a resident with more than 5 years of modeling experience, explains her favorite part.
You're amongst instant friends, and we get very close together so that when someone falls ill like that, they get so much sympathy and help from us, and we enjoy doing that.
Maya Hillen, the activity and marketing director, explains what kind of planning goes into an event like this.
Well, I start in January already. I'm very lucky. We've been doing this for 18 years, so we have quite a reputation in the community already, and with some of the shops, like the Helen Ann shop.
They have raised about $1,500 from just the fashion show. They are arranging for a bake sale where all proceeds will also go towards MS. For Spoke TV, I'm Katerina Costa.
Amberwood is a local band that is slowly rising to fame thanks to the CBC Searchlight. And Lauren Weiler from Spoke TV was lucky enough to get up close and personal with them in their home.
The Waterloo region is known for many things, but what doesn't get enough recognition are local bands. Amberwood, an alternative rock band from Waterloo, formed their band about 3 years ago. Their latest album, Now and Then, has had a big impact on their careers, especially their hit song, Out of This Place.
Can't you get me out of this place?
Just recently, CBC Music and CBC Radio 1 are hosting a search for the next best Canadian artist. CBC Searchlight allows fans to vote for their favorite artist across Canada, and Amberwood has made it to the next round. Ollie Dugai, the vocalist of the band, explains the importance of this contest.
Community-wise, it brings a lot of people together for like different events and stuff, but for the actual bands to each other, it's pretty important because, I mean, if you find a bunch of different groups of people trying to do the same thing, it definitely helps having friends to help you along the way.
This contest connects Canadian fans to their favorite local bands by acknowledging homegrown talent. The contest is giving out about $20,000 worth of prizes, and the winning artist gets a chance to play at the CBC Festival. Colin Briscoe, the bass player of Amberwood, explains why fans are important when rising to fame.
We have like a lot of like really supportive fans, and we're like really thankful for that. So they'll take us as far as they can take us, and hopefully
keep voting.
Yeah, hopefully it works out because yeah, we'd love the opportunity.
Even local busker Rafael Kayaha feels that local music is important to support.
They got their own messages to express, but it's also nice to hear like the things that people are going through that they express through their music, like locally as well, like in your own hometown.
To support local bands, you can attend music events all around the community, and you'll never know what local band you'll find in your hometown. For Spoke TV, I'm Lauren Weiler. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Lauren. And with a more in-depth look at local talent, Devin Flynn looks around the region for some of the hot spots for the best local music. All in the recognition of how hard and dedicated local bands can be and how they add personality right here to our region.
You know, I've heard some interesting things from local musicians saying, you know, they've been told that they have to leave the community to be successful with music, but really there's everything you need right here if you look around and see what's available.
Truer words haven't been spoken when regarding the current state of the local music scene, and Paul Maxwell, president of Maxwell's Concert and Music Hall, has shown that there are still people in the area who are passionate about the music scene and committed to making a change. Local artists, promoters, and venue owners are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into keeping music flowing from KW alive. It isn't a simple task, but they feel it's well worth it. Paul Maxwell has been working in the music community for about 11 years, and through that, he has been able to gain a massive understanding of what the people of KW really want to hear. After gaining some experience in the field, he took on the challenge of owning his own bar with live music. The small bar could maybe pack in 100 people. After a couple of years of planning and working with the city, he was able to upgrade to the current venue, a music hall that can fit 900 people. This is the exact spark of life needed in the seemingly dying music scene of KW. Paul Maxwell, president of Maxwell's Music Hall, describes the current state of the KW music scene.
And then also, there's always this talk of come out and support the local music scene, but there needs to be something that people are excited to get behind as well. And we're trying to be that place where people are going to be excited to come see what's happening. And we're trying to do a better job than our last place of identifying what genres are coming through. So we had a lot of people would come through certain nights expecting it to be, an acoustic or folk rock night or, just a rock night, and then they get a metal night. So we need to make sure that we're very clear in our marketing and wording and things that people understand what they're getting when they come here. So we're trying to do this, this new marketing approach to really identify with, our genres of bands that are coming through and make sure the customers know what's going on. So ultimately, the entire process needs to work together. We need to have youth staying in this community, our young adults, and we need to have something for them to be excited about, and that needs to be, a facility like Maxwell's.
Kyle Wappler is president of Have Hope Promotions, and he believes that Maxwell's Concert Hall provides a great deal to the community.
Provides a whole lot. First of all, with a venue of this caliber, we see more offers coming in, bigger packages that you normally wouldn't see with something of a smaller magnitude. When you have proper green rooms, proper staging, proper production, you get a lot bigger shows coming in, and you see a lot more local bands actually starting up just because there's a new place to play, and it encourages younger people to begin bands and kind of take on the initiative to explore their own musical endeavors.
After venues started to close, those who remained started to only cater to certain genres, making artists feel trapped. Local artist Ian Zebrek explains how, since Maxwell's involves everyone, it helps the concert hall and the music scene.
So it is definitely bringing everyone together and giving a chance for everyone to, play at this venue where it's going to be seen by more people, and with more people coming to these shows for these certain genres, they might want to check it out on off weekends just to see what's up, and that'll also open new doors for them to develop different musical tastes and interests, and obviously it'll put more money into the pocket of the music scene, helping it grow, helping it stimulate its sort of local economy per se.
Seemingly, the KW music scene is making a turn for the better as we watch everything grow firsthand. One venue can't single-handedly ensure the survival, but it can inspire other people to help contribute to the process. For Spoke TV, I'm Devin Flynn.
Thanks, Katarina, and thank you guys for watching Spoke TV. I'm Candice Agunde.
And I'm Long Nguyen. For more news and information, visit spoketv.ca or follow us on Twitter.